The crash that changed everything. The sky turned red as the spaceship fell. Flames wrapped around its broken wings and the engine screamed louder than thunder. Inside the ship, alarms flashed, walls shook, and fear filled every corner. Eli, a human engineer, held tightly to his seat. "Brace for impact," he shouted, though no one could hear him now. The ship was falling too fast. Next to him, a female alien struggled to stay calm. Her name was Viraya. She was tall and slim, with skin that shimmered like silver stone. Her eyes, large and violet, stared at the burning screen. They didn't know each other. They had never even spoken before today. She was a science officer. He was just there to fix engines. Then came the crash. The ship slammed into the ground with a violent roar. Metal bent like paper. Smoke filled the air. Sparks flew. Then, silence. Hours passed. Eli opened his eyes. Blood ran down his forehead. His arms hurt, but he could move. "Anyone?" he called out. No answer. He stumbled out of the broken ship. The land around him was strange, dark purple trees, glowing plants, and a sky filled with two moons. It wasn't Earth. It wasn't any place he knew. Then he heard a soft sound, a cough. He ran toward it and found her, Viraya, half buried under broken metal. Her silver skin was burned in places. She was alive, but barely. Eli pulled her out with all his strength. She looked at him, weak but breathing. "Huh. Man," she whispered. He nodded. "Yes, you're safe, for now." They had both survived, but that was only the beginning. The night came fast on this strange world. The temperature dropped. Cold winds howled through the trees. Eli dragged broken panels from the ship to make a small shelter. He lit a fire using wires and battery cells. Viraya sat close, her arms shaking. She tried to speak, but their languages were different. Her words were soft and musical, but he didn't understand, so he pointed to himself. "Eli," he said slowly. She blinked, then placed a hand on her chest. "Viraya." That was enough for now. They didn't need words to know they were alone. The next morning, Eli walked to the edge of the crash site. There was no signal. No help coming. The ship's radio was dead, burned out in the crash. He returned to Viraya, who was awake and touching her arm. It was bleeding. He cleaned her wound with cloth and sealed it with a heated tool. She watched, him with wide eyes. She had never seen a human care for one of her kind. Her people believed humans were cold, violent. But this one, he was kind. She reached into her small pack and pulled out a glowing stone. She placed it in his hand. "Life," she said. He didn't understand the word, but he smiled and kept the stone. Maybe it meant, "Thank you." They spent the day gathering what they could from the wreck. Food packs, tools, a small solar battery. Viraya pointed to a distant hill. She spoke in her own language, drawing in the dirt with a stick, a symbol, a ruin. Eli understood her meaning, shelter, maybe safety. He nodded, but the path ahead was wild. The forest was thick. Strange sounds echoed from deep within. Growls, clicks, something hunting. That night, while Eli slept, Viraya stood near the fire listening. Something moved in the trees. Fast, silent. Her eyes narrowed. Suddenly, a loud snap echoed from the trees. Eli woke up, grabbed a metal rod, and stood beside her. A shadow moved between the trees. It was tall, taller than both of them. Its eyes glowed orange in the dark. Viraya whispered a word, a warning. "Watcher." The creature stepped closer, sniffing the air. Then it growled, a deep, bone-shaking sound. It didn't like them here. Eli held his rod tightly. Viraya raised her hand, showing the glowing stone again. The creature paused, growled again, and disappeared into the darkness. The fire crackled. The forest was silent once more. Eli turned to her. "What was that?" She didn't answer. She just stared at the trees. Then she whispered one word in broken English. Hunter. That night neither of them slept. They were not alone. And the crash was only the beginning. Viraya walked ahead. Her silver skin glowed in the soft purple, light from the twin moons above. Behind her, Eli carried a small pack with food, tools, and wires. The crash site was gone now, hidden behind trees and smoke. They moved through the strange forest slowly. The ground was soft and red. The trees were thick and twisted, their roots like claws. Every few steps, Eli heard something move. A whisper, a crack, a breath that didn't belong to them. Something was following. Keep going, he said softly, even though Viraya didn't fully understand. She glanced at him and nodded. She could feel it too, the fear, the watcher, the cold eyes behind the leaves. By midday, they reached an old path made of black stones. The trees thinned, and ruins rose ahead. Broken towers leaned like tired bones. A wide gate stood open, covered in moss and vines. Viraya froze. This is it, she said. Eli didn't know the words, but her face said enough. This place meant something. She stepped into the ruins. A light clicked on above them. It was faint and blue. Power? Eli whispered. Viraya pointed to the stone walls. Strange writing ran across them. Curved lines, old symbols. She touched one and the wall lit up brighter. A deep hum came from below. They were inside something ancient, something that still breathed. Inside they found a large round room. A crystal sphere stood in the center, floating in the air. Around it, broken machines and stone chairs faced outward like a council chamber. Suddenly, the sphere glowed. A voice spoke in Viraya's language. Her eyes widened. What is it? Eli asked. She looked at him, shocked. This place. It's from before the wars. Before our people turned enemies. It remembers both of us. The sphere changed, showing old images, humans and Viraya's people together, working, smiling, building, not fighting, not fearing. Eli stared in disbelief. We were allies? She nodded. Long ago, my people forgot, maybe on purpose. Then the image flickered and faded. Boom. The ground shook. Dust fell from the ceiling. Viraya grabbed Eli's arm. It found us. He turned to the entrance. The shadow moved again. They ran deeper into the ruins, past stone halls and fallen beams. The air grew colder. Behind them, claws scraped across the floor. They reached a sealed door. Viraya pressed her hand against it. The wall scanned her skin, then opened slowly with a hiss. They slipped inside. The door closed just as the shadow reached it. A loud slam followed. The creature was trapped outside, for now. Inside was dark, but the air felt charged. Old lights blinked on. They were in another chamber filled with glowing screens and machines. In the center was a chair with long wires wrapped around it. Eli walked toward a control panel. He touched the screen, and a voice spoke, this time in English. Welcome, human. Identify. He stepped back, surprised. You know me? The voice replied. Human and Helyari genetics detected. This is a peace outpost. Both may enter. Viraya walked to a second screen. It lit up for her too. Together they had activated something, lost for centuries, but there was no time to explore. The door behind them bent suddenly. The beast was strong, too strong. Eli grabbed a metal bar and jammed it into the door. We need to go. Viraya found a map glowing on the wall. She pointed to a tunnel below. Core. Signal there. He nodded. Let's move. They dropped into the tunnel. It was narrow and dark. The lights flickered as they ran. Behind them, the door shattered. The beast entered the chamber with a roar. They reached the bottom of the tunnel. A great machine stood there, half buried in rock, but humming faintly. This can call help? Eli asked. Viraya touched a panel. Yes, but power. Low. Not ready yet. He looked around. How long? She didn't answer. Her face was pale. Too slow. Not enough time. Boom. Boom. The beast was coming. Eli turned to face the tunnel. He had no weapon, just a piece of pipe. But he stood between the machine and the monster. "You fix it," he told her. "I'll stop it." She hesitated, then nodded. "Don't die," he smiled. "I'll try not to." The beast arrived. It was tall, black, made of metal and bone. Its eyes burned orange. It wasn't just an animal. It was old technology. Twisted. A guardian, maybe. Left here long ago. It looked at Eli. It did not attack. Then it spoke, in a voice like grinding stone. "Outsider. Unacceptable." Virea stepped forward. "No, he is with me. We come in peace." The beast paused. For the first time, it looked at her. Its head tilted. "Helyari. Permission granted?" She stepped closer. "Yes. I give it." The beast's eyes flickered. It backed away. Eli stared in shock. "You tamed it?" Virea gave a weak smile. "No, I reminded it." Together they watched as the beast slowly stepped aside and sat down near the wall. The signal machine blinked. "Ready." Virea stepped closer to the signal machine. The old control panel flickered to life. Dust floated in the air, and the room was quiet except for the soft hum of power returning. Eli watched carefully. His hands were still shaking from the beast's presence. That monster, or whatever it was, now sat in the corner like a silent guard. Its orange eyes dimmed, no longer hunting. Virea placed her palm on the glowing panel. The machine responded. A voice, calm, ancient and strange, spoke from the walls. The words were in her language but slowly changed into English. "This message is for all survivors. We were once united, humans and Helyari, two minds, one dream." Eli blinked. "That's us." The glowing orb from earlier reappeared, floating above them. This time it showed clear images. A long time ago, the planet was alive. Towers rose into the skies. Humans walked beside alien beings. Virea's people looked different then. Taller, proud, wearing white armor and blue markings. Eli saw peace. Children from both species learning side by side. Scientists building powerful machines. Soldiers working together to protect colonies. Then, the images changed. Flames, bombs, screaming skies. The dream turned into a nightmare. A great war tore the alliance apart. Both sides blamed each other. The buildings fell. Cities burned. Virea watched, eyes filled with pain. "We were never told this. My people said humans attacked first." Eli frowned. "Ours said the same." The voice spoke again. The truth was buried, but the dream was not dead. Suddenly, the screen shifted. A face appeared, an old human woman with silver hair and tired eyes. If you are watching this, it means the past has reached the future. If you carry both bloodlines or hearts willing to forgive, then you are the key. Virea, she's speaking to us. This base holds the last chance for peace, but only if you choose to rebuild it. If not, let it sleep forever. The message ended. The room turned quiet once more. Eli sat down on a broken stone. "So, all this time, we were enemies by mistake." Virea didn't answer. She was staring at the old control machine. Her fingers traced the glowing symbols. Then she turned to him. "We need to send the signal, not just for rescue, but for truth." Eli nodded. "Let the galaxy see this, let them know." But as they prepared the message, the ground shook. A distant boom echoed through the ruins. Virea looked up. "Earthquake?" Eli checked the walls. "No. Something's falling. Maybe the mountain." They ran to the side chamber and looked outside. A huge section of the hill had collapsed. Dust covered the sky. Pieces of metal and stone rained down. The beast behind them stood suddenly. Its head turned sharply toward the noise. Virea looked back at it. "It knows something." The guardian beast walked to another wall and pressed. a large claw into the stone. A new door opened, one neither of them had seen before. Behind it was a narrow tunnel filled with old lights and strange vines. The air was warmer and smelled like fire. Viraya hesitated. Do we trust it? Eli looked at the beast. It didn't growl or move to attack. It simply stared back, calm and waiting. He shrugged. It saved us once. Let's follow. They stepped into the tunnel. It went down deeper and deeper. Strange writings glowed on the walls, changing from Helyari language to English. The path was ancient but still alive. Finally, they reached another room. This one smaller but full of working machines. A large screen waited in the center, and a communication device sat on a pedestal. This is it, Eli said. The signal. Viraya touched the device. Lights blinked. The machine warmed up. But then, a timer appeared. Signal strength, low sending window, 5 minutes. Only, Eli groaned. Of course, just our luck. Viraya nodded. We must be quick. They loaded the message. The one from the floating orb. The images of peace, the old woman's words, the truth. But just as they hit send, the lights flickered again. A warning flashed. Emergency power detected signal. Will only transmit to one system. They both stared. One system? Eli asked. What does that mean? Viraya looked at the screen. It means either your world or mine. A heavy silence fell between them. If they sent it to Earth, humans would learn the truth. If they sent it to Helyari space, her people would know. But not both. The machine was too old, too weak. Eli looked at her. You choose. Viraya was silent for a moment. Then she smiled gently. No. We choose. Together. They each placed a hand on the panel. The machine scanned them both. Suddenly a third option blinked. Dual broadcast enabled. Power from both users. Detected, Ellie laughed. Now that's teamwork. The message began to send. Lights filled the room. The signal traveled through ancient wires past the old ruins into the skies above. Somewhere far beyond the stars, someone would hear it. Then another tremor shook the floor. A piece of the ceiling cracked. Eli looked up. We need to get out of here. But before they could move, the tunnel behind them caved in. Trapped. No way out. Only the quiet voice of the machine said softly, Message sent. Rocks filled the entrance. Dust floated through the air. Eli coughed hard, trying to breathe. His back was against the wall and one leg was pinned under a small chunk of ceiling. Beside him, Viraya sat still. A cut bled above her eye, but she was awake, watching him. Are you hurt? Eli asked. She shook her head. No. You? My leg just stuck. I think it's okay. The signal was sent. That part was done. But now they were trapped deep underground. The tunnel behind them was blocked, and the only exit was gone. The room was quiet, until they heard slow, heavy steps. The guardian beast. It stood at the far side of the room. Its massive frame filled the doorway, eyes glowing orange again. Its breathing was deep and steady, like an old machine. Eli tensed, but Viraya held up a hand. Wait. The beast did not move closer. It stared at them, then made a low sound, almost like a growl, but softer. What is it doing? Eli whispered. Viraya walked forward slowly. The beast didn't stop her. She raised her hands and spoke calmly in her language. The beast replied. Its voice was strange, broken and echoing like many voices speaking at once. She turned back to Eli. It wants to help. He blinked. Help us? Viraya nodded. It remembers. Its memory was broken. Now it sees clearly. The beast stepped to the side and tapped the wall with a large claw. The stone slid open with a hiss, revealing a narrow tunnel hidden behind. A second path, she said. Eli smiled. That thing just saved us twice. They stepped through the passage. The beast followed, walking behind them like a silent guardian. The tunnel smelled like old metal and deep earth. Glowing vines lit their path. As they walked, Viraya looked up at the beast. "What are you?" she asked softly. The beast made a low sound. She listened carefully, then translated for Eli. "It says it was built during the last days of peace. It was made to protect this place, not destroy. But after the war, it lost connection to its masters. Its mind broke. Time made it angry." Eli looked back. "Then why did it attack us? It thought we were enemies. But when we touched the machine together, when it recognized our bond." Eli nodded slowly. "So it stopped fighting." Viraya smiled. "Yes, it remembered." They continued forward. At the end of the tunnel, a door opened into a wide chamber. Inside were tall glass tanks, old metal beds, and glowing screens. Dust covered everything, but it looked untouched by war. "This is a healing station," Viraya said, "for wounded peacekeepers." Eli looked around. "Maybe we can rest here, fix up before going outside." He limped to one of the beds and sat down. The beast stood near the door, guarding silently. Viraya checked the machines. One still worked. A robotic arm scanned Eli's leg and gave him a bandage wrap with cold gel. "Better than nothing," he joked. Then the lights flickered again, and a soft recording began. This time, a young Helyari girl appeared on the screen. "I was scared too," she said. "But the humans were kind. They gave me food and helped me find my family. My mother says peace is possible. I believe her." Eli and Viraya sat and listened quietly. Another recording followed. A human man this time. "I fought in the early battles. I didn't understand them. Now I see. They're not so different from us." More recordings played. One after another. Messages of hope, of regret, of people who had seen both sides and wanted to heal the wounds. Viraya's eyes shimmered. "Why did no one ever share this with us?" Eli shrugged. "Because peace isn't loud. War is." Suddenly, a warning tone beeped from the control panel. A map appeared. A ship, small but flying, was entering the planet's atmosphere. "Someone's coming," Eli said. Viraya stepped closer. "Is it rescue?" The screen didn't say. It only showed the path, directly toward them. They had sent the message. Someone had answered. But who? The beast growled. This time, a sharper sound. Viraya listened carefully. Then her face grew tense. "It says the incoming ship is not from Earth or Helyari." Eli stood up. "Then who is it?" She didn't answer. The beast stepped forward and pointed toward a wall. A new image appeared, of a different symbol. Not human, not Helyari. Eli frowned. "You recognize that?" "No," she said. "But the beast says they are the reason the peace failed." His heart dropped. "A third race?" Viraya nodded. "One that wanted the war, and still does." Outside, the ground trembled again. The enemy was near. The beast, the girl, and the engineer stood in silence. Old wounds were healing, but new danger was coming fast. The air grew hot. Dust and ash fell from above as the ground shook again. Eli wiped his face and looked up at the flickering ceiling lights. "This place is falling apart," he said. Viraya stood beside him, her eyes focused on the map screen. "The ship is landing. Less than 5 minutes now." The guardian beast paced slowly near the chamber's door. Its claws tapped the floor in a steady rhythm. It did not speak, but its tension filled the room. Eli stared at the symbol of the incoming ship again. "If they're the ones who started the war, why come now?" Viraya answered softly. "Maybe to finish what they began." They packed quickly. Viraya grabbed the message crystal from the machine, the same one that played the history recordings. Eli carried a small toolkit and a sharp metal rod. It wasn't much, but it was all they had. The beast turned to the wall and opened another hidden door. This one led to a long ramp, going up and out of the ancient ruins. Eli nodded. Let's go. The ramp was dark and narrow. Every few steps, lights flickered above them. The beast moved ahead, large and quiet, leading the way. Eli followed with a limp, and Viraya stayed close behind. The air grew warmer. The deeper they climbed, the more it smelled like smoke. Suddenly, a bright light filled the tunnel. They reached the surface. The sky above was red-orange. A strange new ship hovered in the distance. It was black, shaped like a claw, and surrounded by green energy sparks. It landed hard, kicking up dust and rocks. Viraya's eyes widened. I've never seen that design before. The beast growled, a deep, angry sound. From the ship, 4 tall figures stepped out. Their armor was black and sharp. Their eyes glowed white, without pupils. They moved like shadows, but had bodies like soldiers. One spoke, its voice strange and cold. You are not supposed to find the truth. Eli stepped forward. We sent a message. Everyone will know what really happened. The lead figure tilted its head. That message will never reach anyone. Viraya raised the crystal. It already did. The galaxy will remember peace, the alien hissed. Then you will die first. It raised its hand, and a blast of green light shot toward them. The beast jumped in front. The energy hit its chest and exploded. Metal and fire flew everywhere. No! Viraya screamed. The beast roared in pain but stayed standing. Its armor glowed hot. Smoke rose from its back. It charged the attackers. Eli grabbed Viraya's hand. Run! Behind the rocks! They dove behind a ridge as the beast fought. The fight was brutal. The beast tore through one attacker, slamming it into the ship. Another fired again, burning half the beast's side. But it didn't fall. It roared, grabbed 2 more, and crushed them with its claws. Then finally the last alien stabbed it through the chest. The beast fell. Silence. Viraya cried out. She crawled forward, but Eli held her back. Wait, there's one left. The final attacker walked toward them, weapon still glowing. Eli stood up, placing himself between Viraya and the enemy. He held the metal rod tightly. His hand shook, but he didn't step back. You want her, he said. You'll have to go through me. The alien laughed. A human, so weak, so foolish. It aimed. Before it could fire, Viraya threw the message crystal. It struck the alien's chest and exploded in light. The flash was bright as a star. The alien screamed and stumbled back, dropping its weapon. Viraya rushed forward, grabbed the weapon, and fired. The alien fell. Eli limped to her, sighed. You saved me. She smiled through tears. We saved each other. They walked to the fallen beast. Its body was smoking, but its eyes still glowed faintly. Viraya knelt beside it. You protected us even when broken. The beast looked at her, then at Eli. Its voice was weak. Protect. Peace. Then slowly, it stopped moving. A deep silence covered the land. The strange ship was still standing, but powerless now. Smoke rose from its broken side. The wind blew softly, carrying dust across the battlefield. Eli sat down on a rock, breathing hard. It's over, for now. Viraya sat beside him. Do you think anyone heard the message? He looked up at the sky. I hope so. They rested there, watching the twin moons rise once more. 2 lives, 2 worlds, 1 bond, stronger than war. In fire, they had found trust. The night was quiet. Smoke drifted from the wrecked alien ship. The wind carried ashes over the ruins and rocks. Eli sat near the fallen beast, his hand resting on its cold metal body. It had fought to protect them, and now it was gone. Viraya knelt beside him. Her eyes were red from crying, but her voice was calm. We can't stay here, the planet is still shaking. Eli nodded. We need to move before the mountain collapses. Behind them, the sky glowed red. Small tremors rumbled beneath their feet. The planet was breaking apart slowly, like a wound left open too long. They stood and looked at the strange enemy ship. Its black surface was cracked, and one of its wings lay twisted on the ground. But the main body looked whole. "Think we can fly it?" Eli asked. Varea frowned. "Not without power, and I don't know their systems." He smiled faintly. "Then it's a good thing I'm an engineer." Inside, the ship was dark and cold. The walls were covered in symbols they didn't understand. The smell of smoke and burnt wires filled the air. Eli coughed as he opened a small panel. "Yep, power core's fried. But if I can reroute this..." Varea stood at the controls. "We don't have time for guesses." "I'm not guessing," Eli said. "I'm hoping." He pulled wires, moved pieces, and connected strange circuits. Sparks flew, but nothing lit up. Varea paced, her fingers running over the alien console. "We sent the message. Someone must be out there. Someone has to answer." Eli didn't look up. "Hope is good, but we still need a way off this planet before it explodes." Boom. A loud crack echoed from outside. The ship shook. Dust fell from the ceiling. Varea turned to him. "Whatever you're doing, do it faster." Eli's hand moved to his tool, pouch. He pulled out a small glowing stone, the one Varea had given him back at the crash site. He stared at it. "You called this life. What does it do?" "It's from my home world," she said softly. "It stores energy, heat, light, motion, life." Eli's eyes widened. "Then maybe..." He snapped the stone into the power slot. For a moment, nothing happened. Then, click. The lights turned on. The engine hummed. The ship came alive. Varea gasped. "It's working!" Eli grinned. "I told you. Hope." They ran to the control seats. The screen lit up, showing the outside terrain and warning signs flashing red. "Seismic collapse. Imminent launch or die." Eli tapped the controls. "Let's get out of here." The ship shook as it rose. Rocks tumbled from cliffs. Fire burst from cracks in the ground. Lava poured through the trees far below. They sped through the clouds, climbing higher and higher. Behind them, the surface of the planet began to break, massive cracks splitting the land. Pieces of mountain fell into glowing rivers of fire. They escaped just in time. In orbit, the stars were calm. The silence felt unreal after so much noise and chaos. Eli sat back, breathing deeply. "We did it." Varea stared at the stars. "Did we?" He turned to her. "What do you mean?" She pointed to the signal panel. "We sent the message, but no one answered. What if no one believed it?" Eli looked at the stars. "Or maybe they're still coming." Then something beeped, a soft sound, a flashing light. Varea leaned forward. "It's a signal." She pressed the button. A voice crackled through the speaker. It was weak, but clear. "To the ones who sent the truth, we received your message." Her hands shook. "Who are you?" "We are a united crew of humans and Helyari. We've waited for proof that peace was possible, and now we have it." Eli grinned. "They heard us." The voice continued. "Your coordinates are locked. We are coming. Hold your position." Varea let out a deep breath. Her shoulders relaxed. She turned to Eli. "We're not alone anymore." He reached out and gently held her hand. "No, we never were." They sat together in the strange ship, drifting among the stars. Below them, the broken planet burned, silent, empty. But above them, hope returned. Suddenly, Varea looked at the beast's body stored in the cargo hold. "Do you think we can fix him?" Eli smiled. "I fixed a warship with a rock. I can try." She laughed softly. "Then let's give him a second chance, like we got." A new future waited for them, written not in fire or fear, but in trust and truth. And they weren't just survivors now. They were the first of something greater. The stars outside the ship looked endless. Varea leaned her forehead against the window, watching the glowing dust trails of broken planets and long-forgotten satellites. Somewhere out there, a rescue ship was on its way. Somewhere, peace was, trying to rise again. Behind her, Eli sat with the guardian beast's broken body laid across a repair table. Wires, panels, and melted circuits surrounded him. His hands were dirty, burned in places, but steady. "You don't have to fix him alone," Varela said softly. Eli glanced back and smiled. "You already helped. That crystal you gave me, still feeding power." "He was more than just a machine," she whispered. "He remembered peace when even we had forgotten." The ship hummed softly now, kept alive by the energy stone and Eli's careful rewiring. Outside, the planet below was dead, cracked open and burning from the inside. It would be a tomb forever. But the truth had escaped. Varela walked over and picked up a data chip. "These are all the records," she said. "The message, the history, everything." Eli nodded. "It'll go to every system that wants peace." She sat beside him. "And the ones that don't?" He looked at her. "Then we make them see." Suddenly, a soft noise echoed from the repair table, a flicker of orange. Then the beast's eyes glowed, dim, but alive. Eli stepped back, surprised. "That wasn't me." The beast sat up slowly. Its chest was still torn open, but the core inside pulsed gently. It looked at Eli, then at Varela. "You returned me," it said in a slow, broken voice. Varela touched its arm gently. "You protected us. You earned another chance." The beast lowered its head, almost like a bow. Hours passed. Together they cleaned the ship. They sealed broken vents, fixed light panels, and even found old emergency rations. Bland, but enough. They turned one room into a med bay, another into a small rest area. It wasn't home, but it was safe. Varela placed the glowing crystal into a special container. "This was never meant to be a weapon," she said. "It was meant to grow life." Eli nodded. "Then let's build something from it." Later they gathered in the ship's small central chamber. The stars spun slowly outside. The signal beacon blinked steady and calm. Eli leaned back in the old pilot chair. "You know, when I first woke up after the crash, I thought I'd die alone." Varela smiled. "I thought I'd be eaten by a strange hairy human." He laughed. "Hey, I shaved that week." The beast sat near the door, quiet and still. "Strange. You joke. In danger." Varela looked at him. "That's how humans survive. They laugh even when it hurts." The beast's orange eyes blinked slowly. "Then teach me." They didn't speak for a while. Only the soft hum of the ship filled the silence. Then Varela reached for Eli's hand. "You could have left me after the crash. But you didn't. You could have let that beast eat me. But you didn't," he replied. She smiled. "So what are we now?" Eli looked, around the small broken ship, at the tired guardian, and at the stars beyond. "We're not just survivors," he said. "We're something new." "Family?" she asked. He nodded. "Yeah, family." The rescue ship came the next morning. It was large and silver, with markings from both human and Helyari fleets. A symbol of peace, 2 hands holding 1 star, was painted on the hull. Eli, Varela, and the beast stood outside the strange black ship, waiting as the rescue craft lowered its ramp. Out stepped a mixed crew, humans and Helyari together. Some looked shocked to see the Guardian alive. Others just stared at Eli and Varela, 2 who shouldn't have survived, now standing tall. A woman in a white coat approached. "Are you the ones who sent the truth?" Eli nodded. "We are," she smiled. "Then welcome home." On board the rescue ship, they were given clean clothes, warm food, and soft beds. But neither Eli nor Varela slept. They stood together at the window, watching their old ship disappear into the distance. "We should name her," Varela said. Eli raised an eyebrow. "The old warship?" "She brought us together," Varela said. "Even in fire." He thought for a moment. "How about unity?" Varela smiled. "Perfect. The galaxy still had scars, Many worlds would doubt their message. Some would resist change. But now the truth had a voice, and that voice was strong. Not because of weapons, not because of power, but because one human and one alien chose kindness. In the dark, two lights moved forward, one orange, one violet. A new journey had begun, and it wasn't about survival anymore. It was about belonging.